Bluff City Media presents the Two Buck Sports Show with your hosts, Rusty Buckets and Uncle Buck. Now, let's get to the show.
What is up, everybody? Welcome to your Thursday edition of the Two Buck Sports Show. I'm your co-host, Rusty Buckets, checking in live from East Memphis on this beautiful Thursday, Drew. It is hot, but we know that the cooler weather's coming, so we just got to hang on a little bit longer. How you doing on this Thursday, Uncle Buck?
It is a beautiful Thursday. That is a fact. You know, not too sweaty outside, but the sun's out, the little breeze going. I have nothing to complain about. Thank you to Zach Callahan stepping in for me yesterday. It was a good show. I listened to it in its entirety. I had some nits to pick with Rusty. We handled it off air, not to spoil the show with ramblings from yesteryears. But appreciate him, as I had to take my daughter to a follow-up appointment for her broken arm. Just not going to apologize. Had to do dad stuff. So
yeah. Nothing wrong with doing dad stuff. Sometimes you got to be a Power Ranger. Sometimes you got to be super dad. So, again, like you said, shout out Zach from Ground City Brewing. Crushed it as always. Kid is uber talented on the mic, even if he roots for the wrong college football team. Thank you for stepping in, Zach. Did a great job yesterday. And Uncle Buck, speaking of complaining about things, you know, you and I have been talking. We've got a segment on Mondays. We do our best in beef. And on Wednesdays, we do real versus counterfeit, which you had a beef with yesterday. To tie a couple together. We have one for y'all tomorrow called our Bucks Big Three. And we've been trying to play around with what we're going to do on Tuesdays and Thursdays. I think we had a winner on Tuesdays with our Tuesday tasting. We talked about foods because I had something yesterday that I cannot wait to talk about on Tuesday. Like, it is a fat kid dream what I ate yesterday, and it was a home run. So Tuesday can't get here soon enough.
Little Debbie cake flavored ice cream.
No, those are really good. And did you know that I'm not a coffee creamer guy, but I saw I was sent a Little Debbie's Christmas tree cake. Shout out Amy Roach Smith, friend of the show, back home in Corinth. They're doing a coffee creamer this year.
You know,
I'm not a huge coffee creamer guy, but I'm a huge Christmas tree cake guy. I'm all in on that.
We've talked about this. You probably need to just stay in your lane. You know, I when you start dabbling in other things, you know, as the great philosopher Juan Swanson once said, you want to
never half-ass two things, whole ass one thing. I'll say it, dadgummit.
And so when you start veering it, like you're getting a little too big for your britches, like Christmas tree cakes are great. Maybe we should liquefy it for coffee, and it's typically just not as good.
So there is an episode in Two Bucks Sports Show lore. If you go back to around Christmas time, we tried all the Little Debbie's new Christmas tree ventures, from donuts to gingerbread cookies to sticks to Nutty Buddies, the whole thing, man. And so we can attest that it doesn't always work out. But I guarantee, as my co-host will say, that if they put Little Debbie's Christmas tree cakes on something, I'm at least going to try it.
Oh, I'm not telling you not to try it. I'm telling you not to expect the original glory, you know?
Which is like, shout out Jared doing the Lord's work in the comments. He tasted the Nutty Buddy oatmeal cream pie collaboration and warned us that it was not going to be that good. And I haven't tried it yet because of that. But I digress and run a rabbit trail here. So on Tuesdays, we're going to talk about what we eat. And I cannot wait for Tuesdays to talk about what I ate. But on Thursdays, Drew, we've had a long week. The weekend is ahead. Things have happened. Life happens. It gets chaotic and things go awry. And so we thought on Thursdays, we would give everybody an opportunity to talk through things that they're going through. And we're calling it Therapy Thursdays.
that music puts me in such a very sad headspace. I don't know if we're about to this is invitation time at the church, or if we're having an intervention.
That's the whole point of the music. It's going to be nothing. It was remotely close to what follows.
Yeah. All right. Tell me if I should punish my kid for this. Okay. This is comical, and it starts with an infarction on my end because I'm hungry. I came home. You know, I typically used to eat lunch about 11:15. Now we do the show from 11 to 12, and I try to find something quick out the door, typically something a leftover or something. So I'm not I don't go over my allotted lunch time, And so I looked in the refrigerator as I came home today at 10:50, and I was like, what can I have quick to just throw in my mouth real quick, satisfy me until lunchtime? And I saw a peanut butter and jelly sandwich in there that my kid had made and decided not to take to school with him. This is a repeated offense. He likes to throw away his sandwiches and then charge up school lunches, because he's tired of eating a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. This is not the issue in which I am addressing today. I decided I was going to eat this sandwich. and that's not the issue in which I want to address today. I take a bite of the sandwich. There is no peanut butter. He has made a jelly sandwich, and I think he's a terrorist.
I couldn't agree more. Like, if you've ever seen the show Parks and Rec, straight to jail. Believe it or not, straight to jail.
Straight to jail.
That is a punishable. Like, I'm pretty sure that's in the Geneva Convention. Is you cannot have a jelly sandwich. You have to have some peanut butter or something like that. This is not this is where you check for receipts and make sure that this child is yours. It's kind of a situation, right?
Well, Jared's not abreast of the situation as well, because he is up for adoption, and I'm the guy.
He's the one adopting said terrorist.
Yeah.
This is a situation growing up when my brother and I would do something completely boneheaded, which was like most of the time. Dad would always say, so our last name is obviously Witten. My mother's maiden name is Stanley. And he'd go, whoo, that's the Stanley coming out of me right there.
Yeah, every dad does that. Like,
absolutely.
I was always told that's the Michael side, So, and now my kids, it's like, oh, that's the Carmack side. I kind of put yourself in an 8-year-old's shoes.
Mm-hmm.
A jelly sandwich is a great idea. Until you try it. So I'm kind of holding the brakes. I'm going to be like, hey, bud, you forgot your sandwich. You should take it to school today because we don't want to waste peanut butter and jelly, and just see what he does and see if he eats it. Because he will realize it's not as good as he thinks.
It's one of those things that's, again, a Little Debbie's conglomeration, if you will, of Nutty Buddy and oatmeal cream pie sounds great in theory. A jelly sandwich sounds great in theory.
Yeah.
It doesn't work in practicality, much like cramming a bunch of vegetables in a jar and calling it Vegemite and expect it to taste good. I'm looking at you, Wayne. I've had that mess. And Jared, this is not a serious set. Yes, the music makes you feel things. I am very much team Nick Miller. If our feelings, we're supposed to talk about our feelings, they'd be called talkings, not feelings. And so that's not what this is about. All right. That's not what this segment's about.
Yeah. My favorite line of Nick Miller is you treat outside wounds with rubbing alcohol, and you treat inside wounds with drinking alcohol.
Absolutely. Like the guy's
and we're doing this at lunchtime. We can't treat inside feelings properly now. So no, this is going to be a very lighthearted segment.
Absolutely. And so speaking of lighthearted segments, so mine kind of like starts because that was the whole goal, is to get everybody
Rusty did not set the mood for this properly.
I nailed it. I nailed it because y'all start thinking you're going to feel things. And we're talking about jelly sandwiches and throwing things around the house, which is my next my issue I want to talk through. So those who know me, we're going to get a little deep and then we're going to bounce back, I promise. My life is chaos right now, trying to figure out a lot of logistical stuff. And so when I've been working on that this morning, I kind of lost track of time, right? And I didn't realize how long I've been sitting at my computer working at the kitchen table. And I was like, oh no, I have a show in 8 minutes. Like, I got to go. So then I got the Zoomies, and I'm trying to hurry through the house to get things done, to get there. I got to get Shelby in her kennel so she'll embark at everything that exists outside the house. I have to get my computer in here and get set up, get the light turned on. I run in here, I throw the computer down, I go to leave the room. I hope my roommate's not watching, because his little dog had followed me in here. No clue. I go to step. She's on my foot. Absolutely. She's like a 12-pound Chihuahua Cocker Spaniel mix. She got punted on accident into the hallway, and she just goes, yep. And that's all she did was just yep. As she was flying in the hallway. I go running back in there. I get Shelby in her kennel. I'm I'm so sorry, Maggie, rubbing on her, trying to get everything together. I run, I grab this is kind of sad. I have a Ted Lasso Believe coffee mug. Yep. And I'm like, I want some coffee for the show. If you notice, I have not drank said coffee. That's because I poured coffee in it. I set it down, realizing that I hadn't started the lot, like the towels in the dryer. So I shut the dryer, start it. I opened the microwave door without relocating said Ted Lasso believe coffee mug. And it goes flying across the kitchen, hits the ground, breaks into 12 pieces. Coffee goes everywhere, all over the lower parts of my britches, all over roommate said dog Maggie, who still followed me around like, why did you kick me down the hallway? I don't understand. Only for me to then Shelby comes in to figure out what's going on. I clean up the mess. I'm like, all right, that's fine. I'm going to get a body armor. Now, remind you, this is all from 12:52 to 12:54 or 10:52 to 10:54 a.m. Central Standard Time. 2-minute span. I'm like, all right, no coffee. Got that at least towels on top. I'm going to finish it after the show. I reach on top of the fridge to grab a body armor so I can at least have something to drink on the show. Drop it on the kitchen floor. Dogs scatter everywhere. And I go, what is my life? And Jared is exactly right. The ADHD was in hyperdrive for about 4 minutes until I sat down here in the chair and was just like, what just happened? And so I didn't
don't
get that off my
smoke anymore,
chest.
but I think I might want one.
like I got an ounce of hope sitting in the fridge right now, 30 milligram that I hadn't tried yet, that I almost was like, you know what? But I've got meetings this afternoon. I can't be taking a nap. So we got the body armor up off the kitchen floor, and we're here to do the show. So that's my therapy Thursday.
Get it out. That's what this segment is about. And it seems to me this is a wise man once said, haste makes waste. And
Absolutely.
so I believe it's 100% your fault. Put on a watch.
It is. Mm-hmm. I have one on. I just got in the zone.
And most computers have the time displayed,
So as the ADD kid of the 90s, like, you know how it is when you like lock into something and you're just like, oh, like when I focus on something, I'm utterly focused on it and nothing else matters. And then I just happened to look up in the top right of my computer. It said 10:52 a.m. And I was like, later than I thought.
Yeah. And growing up, it was video games. And I'm the ADD kid too, that like, I can't allow myself a distraction. I try to do work while listening to a podcast, or, I've even tried watching a movie like while I'm doing menial tasks at work or whatnot. I can't do it.
Yeah.
I cannot do it. Whatever has the most sparkly look to it is where I spend all my time, like all my energy and attention, and it's not on my computer. So I do my best work when the room is totally quiet.
Yeah, I'm the opposite. That kicks my ADD into hyperdrive. If I don't have at least a little bit of background noise, then I'm going to notice everything, every little click, bing, bang, noise, shiny thing. But if I have, it's just almost like, it's like my brain is like humming at a certain level of noise. How hearing aids work, for those uninformed, they match the the vibrations that your ear is making to eliminate the distracted sounds and bring the ear ringing that comes a lot of times with that down so you can hear other things. And that's how music kind of works for me, is it matches the vibration and buzzing in my brain enough that it can like distract that, so that the very, very small developed upper part of my brain that is smart can actually do things. Again, a very small area, and it needs all the help it can get. Ergo, I have music playing in the background, much like Jared does here in the comments as well. But that's our Therapy Thursdays. We'll give you life advice. So mine is slow down. Drew's is always check the sandwich before you eat it, because it might just be a jelly sandwich. Y'all, if y'all have topics, things y'all want to learn about here on Therapy Thursdays, let us know. We do also another solid advice, and Drew hadn't listened to it yet, so we can't go into a deep discussion on it. But don't try Pablo Torre. There's your therapy advice for the week. Like, every time Steve Ballmer and Adam Silver and the Clippers deny or say that is not provably true, Pablo Torre just drops a podcast, and he dropped one this morning with Dan Le Batard, the other Cuban. He said he would have rather had Mark Cuban in the seat, but he got the other Cuban who was just as good to help him work through it this morning, which I thought was really funny. And it's just every single thing that Steve Ballmer, Adam Silver, Dennis Wong, and the Clippers are using to justify what has been done, or try and wash their hands, I should say. Pablo Torre finds more receipts. I'm talking depositions where the
he
CEO
finds out, is what you're saying? He finds out?
He finds out. Yeah. The Clippers, Adam Silver, Steve Ballmer, they F around. Pablo Torre finds out. It's the perfect FAFO combination, including a deposition where one of the founding C-suite executives of aspiration was on trial. He's now in federal prison for wire fraud. They were asking, do you know this celebrity? Yes. Do you know this celebrity? Yes. Do you know Steve Ballmer? Yes. Did you have a relationship with the Clippers? Yes. Can you tell me the details about that? And he looks at the attorney and says, I'm going to invoke my Fifth Amendment right. And he did that a couple of times in some really shady ways. So your other advice today is don't try Pablo Torre, because it's not going to end well. And like this, the hole is getting deeper. The damning evidence is piling up. Like, he's done the work for the NBA. If Adam Silver takes the NBA serious, Pablo Torre's done the work for him. He just needs to review the material and issue a punishment.
Yeah. Listen, you cannot wiggle your way out of it. I have not listened to today's episode that dropped this morning. However, I did kind of follow Pablo did put out a tweet thread and had some stuff in it, some proof, some evidence that he put out there. And the amount of money just keeps growing. And so my first opinion, and again, this is uneducated because I hadn't listened to Pablo today, but the more the money grows, the more I feel like it was what I thought Ballmer should have done from the start. And it's keep this business afloat so that this doesn't expose himself in bankruptcy court, in bankruptcy filings.
There is a clip in there where they're talking about Mark Cuban, and Mark Cuban said that if Steve Ballmer was smart, he would either keep the business afloat or he would give them a lump sum payment so they could pay off Kawhi Leonard and get him off the books, and immediately followed with the receipt of the lump sum payment that Steve Ballmer made right before getting Kawhi Leonard off the books.
And see, that's what I said initially. I was like, why in the world does the sixth richest man in the world allow a bankruptcy filing for a company that's worth millions? Why does that? I mean, $28 million?
Yeah.
Like, that's nothing to him. That's me and you giving a hobo a 20, you know? Like, just go buy it out. Don't let it get to this point. And I know Pablo's smarter than me, so you had to think that he was probably fishing that in this pond before Cuban said that, before I said that. Not that he listens to us, but
he might.
To then supply that and be like, you know what, Mark? You know what, Uncle Buck? You're right. It was smart of him to do this, but I caught him. You know, it's wild.
It is wild, and it's getting wilder. Go listen to the Pablo Torre Finds Out episode, Drew. That's your homework, and we'll finish this conversation tomorrow morning before we make our picks against the FanDuel spread on Friday. Yes, Jared, that is a $2 Sports Show sticker. I still have quite a few in my backpack, so at the next college football Saturday, y'all got to come. On the 27th, I will have a plethora of stickers because I bring my backpack with me. Ask me, remind me, and I'll give you a handful of $2 stickers. We have quite a few.
There you go.
That's our Thursday. Yeah, that's all right. Yeah, I still got a whole stack. I can give you some. But that's our Therapy Thursday segment. Hope y'all enjoyed it as much as we did. We're going to bring this back each and every week as we talk about life's problems and hopefully help a few folks, ourselves included, through the situations that we find ourselves in. But on the other side of the commercial break, we have our third installment. A day late because of some orthopedic tomfooleries that we had to do yesterday, but that's all right. You're still going to get the Greased Pole Volume 3 right after the commercial break.
In the heart of the Highland Strip for 27 years, Trilogy Tattoo has helped tell stories for Memphians for generations. Located at 530 South Highland, Richie and his team are waiting to help you tell yours.
From tattoos to piercings, your body art should be as unique as you are. Voted a Memphis Flyer top 3 tattoo shop in the city of Memphis since day one. Your story will be safe here at Trilogy Tattoo.
Open 7 days a week, Monday through Saturday, 11 to 11, and 3 to 11 on Sundays. They have convenient times waiting on you. Let Trilogy Tattoo help you tell your story.
I am super amped about this game. I just have this feeling that it's going to be a very special day in Memphis on Saturday.
I hope so.
I had a chance today at the media press conference at the availability to talk to some media members that were not in Memphis in 2019. and share with them what college game day coming to Beale Street was like. The season feels like a 2019 type of season.
Already.
It just does. It just does. It feels like a Destiny type of team. That really, really amps me up for this Saturday, because this is just another chapter in the story that I think this season is going to end up being for the Tiger football program.
I hope you're right. I hope you were right. You're getting me fired the heck up.
Tune in to Tigers Untapped with your hosts, Trey Lasley and TJ Willis, every Tuesday at 3 p.m. on the Bluff City Media YouTube channel.
We are 2 weeks away from NBA training camp. I want to know what things you guys are intrigued about the most. Edward says he needs to see a Cedric Coward workout video. It's not that I think the Grizzlies are being weird about it. I just think that our level of anxiety for it is high. Now, whether you want to debate whether that's understandably high or just y'all just tripping high, that's for each man to determine. I don't think the Grizzlies are being weird about it at all. Like I think if I was watching something and it felt like they were intentionally showing him working out for whatever reason, I would think that's weird too, man. Like I haven't seen Brandon Clark pick up a ball in forever, but I'm kind of assuming he's going to be ready to play. Like I'm not pointing any grand conspiracy about hiding Brandon Clark. Like I don't particularly have to see Cedric Coward play basketball to think that he's fine or he'll be ready for camp. I haven't seen anybody do anything with a basketball since Summer League. The guys that played in Summer League, I saw them play. I ain't seen nobody do anything since then.
Tune in to the Anthony Sain Show Monday through Fridays at 1 p.m. live on the Bluff City Media YouTube channel.
Welcome back to the $2 Sports Show Thursday edition of the show. I was out yesterday, and so I didn't reboot my system here. So welcome back to the Thursday edition of the $2 Sports Show. You just listened to our first segment, our Therapy Thursdays, very first inaugural edition. It was lots of fun. It will be back. And now we're getting to our grease pole. And this is something I look forward to every week.
Absolutely. Real quick sidebar before that, Drew. I don't know if you saw this. Grease Bowl's coming. We're building anticipation. But this morning, On 3 Sports announced that Arizona State and Kansas are in discussions for the first ever FBS college football game in London next season. Once finalized, Wembley Stadium would host the Big 12 matchup on September 19th, 2026. What's your reaction to that?
I think it's stupid.
Thank you. I couldn't agree more.
You are taking home games away from people who are paying money to watch home games. And I know, like with the Grizzlies and the NBA, like obviously the NBA is buying the Grizzlies and the Magic out of a home game, and so that the Grizzlies aren't eating the cost of losing a home game. But I don't know if that happens at college. I don't know if the NCAA has got a bankroll to pay back millions of dollars that these teams are losing in concessions and gate sales. But the fact of the matter is, we celebrate and love college football season. You have 12 regular season games in which typically you've got 7 of them at home. Well, one of these schools is only going to have 6 now, and you're not going to be able to afford a trip to London. Why do we care if the British are gaining love and adoration for college football? College football is a area-wide thing. Like, it is in your backyard typically. That's the team you root for. Who cares?
It is decidedly an American sport. American football in London, in England, and abroad is by and large viewed as a novelty American sport. And that's what it is. I don't understand, like you said, the cost is going to be exorbitant. 2 teams that I could care less about going over there. Somebody in the comments said we now know who are the 2 most unpatriotic teams in the world because of said war that we have defeated them in. And you're now going over there to play on, like, we defeated them in 1779. We declared independence in 1776 from them, so that we didn't have to go do this. But yet you're taking 2 middle-of-the-road Big 12 teams. Kansas, I'll give you Arizona State. You know, they're fine. They're good. They're a top 15 team. But you're going to go take them across the pond where their fans can't go. I will say I did get a half-season ticket pass this year for the Grizzlies. They did give me 21 home games. I did end up getting a majority instead of 20, like I thought we were going to have one overseas. But they're not going to do that for college football. They're not going to add an extra game so they can have an extra home game. This is asinine. It's silly. And just like play football where it's supposed to be played, in the backyards, on campus, because the tailgate experience is not going to be the same that you would have on a college campus around a college stadium.
I just don't get the motivation. I can hear the NBA and the NFL. I can hear their motivation for it. It is the NBA, the NFL is king above all kings when it comes to sports. They get ratings. They did 33 million views on Sunday Night Football.
Hang on, beans and toast tailgate. They've conquered half the world for spices, and they barely use salt on their food.
And so I understand the land grab when it comes to like money and pushing your influence globally. If you have a professional sport franchise or league, I don't get it for college at all. I don't understand what we're doing. Maybe somebody smarter than me can come on here and tell me the benefit that somebody in Tempe, Arizona, or Manhattan, Kansas gets out of their teams going and playing in London. But you'll have to be much smarter than me to convince me.
I can understand, like you said, professional sports, because Adam Silver clearly has an agenda. He wants international teams in the NBA. The NFL has said they want international teams. The University of Oxford in England would get pummeled by Alabama. Like, they're not traveling to Tuscaloosa or Baton Rouge on a Saturday night. Like, we're going to beat those dudes' ugly teeth out of their head. Like that. They're not going to add a football team that's going to join the SEC or American Conference or AC. Like ACC maybe, because you got California over there as well. But like Oxford University is not going to field a football team, so it doesn't make sense as to why we keep doing these international games.
This is a conference game. Like, you only get 7 of those, or 8 of those.
And you're going to travel across the pond 15 hours away to go play football over there? Asinine. We've ruled it ridiculous here on the $2 Sports Show. We're not going to give it any more airtime because that's exactly what it is. But the moment you've all been waiting for, the third installment of the Greased Poll. Drew, tell them why it's called the Greased Poll, and you're up first this week, buddy.
All right, yeah, so we're rednecks. We're both from North Mississippi. Rusty pretends to be from the big city of Memphis now, but he's not. His roots are here in North Mississippi,
exactly.
Where every single weekend you are no more than 15 miles away from a rodeo, and rodeos are typically for adults, but it's a full family event. And what they do for the kids is a myriad of different events, but my favorite was always called the Grease Pole, where they tell a bunch of kids there's $5 at the top of this flagpole, but you got to get up it. And by the way, the pole's covered in grease, and so it's really hard to get up. And I thought that makes great parallels with college football, because to get to the top of the college football grease pole is very hard, but it's really hard to stay there once you get there. And so This is the Greased Pole, my edition. Week number 3 edition of the Grease Poll. Ohio State stays at number 1. I'll be honest with you, it's really boring, and I don't think it makes for great content, but I don't really see Ohio State moving off number 1 at this point. Georgia, number 2, they kind of got bumped up. One, they had a chaotic win on the road in Knoxville, Tennessee, but I also bumped LSU down. They were my number 2 team. They struggled. People say struggled. It was a 10-point margin of victory at home at night in Death Valley against Florida, in which Florida gave them the ball 5 times in the middle of their drive. They were like, no, we could continue trying to score touchdowns, but instead we'll let you have this possession instead. And they still only scored 13 points of offensive scores. So at a pick 6. Oregon kind of default here. You beat Oklahoma State 69-3. They haven't really played much of anybody yet, but I've been pretty impressed with the margin of victories they've had against these teams. Same with Oklahoma. I moved them all the way up to number 4 here. I keep becoming a fan of John Mateer even more. They went to Temple in what could be a trap game, because you've got the revenge game of Auburn going to Norman, Oklahoma this week. They had to go all the way to Philadelphia to play Temple, and they just beat them like a drum. Not even close. So I've got them number 4, LSU number 5. Listen, the offense has got to be fixed. This team and this roster is capable of being number 2 again. They're just going to have to figure out this offensive thing, and it's so easy to root against Brian Kelly. It's a match made in heaven that he's the coach of LSU because he is unraveling despite his 3-0 start. I should have Penn State higher. I don't because I just have this bias against them. I think they will end the season somehow not in the top 4. I don't know how. It'll probably wait till the playoffs to flesh this out, but that's just kind of what happens every year. I believe that the best quarterback on Penn State's roster last year is now playing for Missouri. Bo Pribula has been absolutely incredible for Missouri. Drew Aller is just kind of remained Drew Aller, which is system quarterback at best. Miami, number 7, Florida State, number 8. Those didn't really change much. I did bump A&M up to number 9 based on their road win against Notre Dame. 1-point win, coming from behind win. Listen, Marcel Reed, the stat line wasn't great, but clutch when it mattered most. Number 10, I added Ole Miss. And this isn't homerism. I would just like to present you with facts. Okay, so the facts are, since the playoff was constructed, 14 playoff, and now a 12-team playoff, this playoff system started in 2014. 100% of the years, the team that has the best SEC record is in the playoff. Ole Miss is the only team in the SEC at 2-0. So Ole Miss is leading the SEC. It's criminal for me or you at this point to not have them in here because they are first place in the SEC. Just off my list was Vanderbilt, and to be honest with you, I just put them below Ole Miss so I could,
put Ole Miss on there. Yeah, exactly. So I mean, that's strong logic. As Drew's is constructed, his number 1 ranked team, Ohio State, is plus 550 to win the national championship. Georgia is plus 700. Oregon is plus 650, and Oklahoma is plus 1900 on FanDuel Sportsbook right now.
Take it.
Take Oklahoma at plus 1900.
Yeah, I think that the defense is good. I think that Auburn game this week will kind of wake up everybody, because I feel like a lot of people are putting Auburn and Oklahoma in that same kind of third tier, maybe second, possibly second tier, but one of those teams preseason was talked about being the darling. I feel like that was 2 of the teams that were mentioned, along with Ole Miss and Florida, and that second tier. I think Oklahoma dominates Auburn this week at home, and we're going to think about them much differently going forward. They're going to beat Texas in 2 weeks. I called that, and that's not even going to be sexy anymore. So, and I did drop Texas out of my top 10 as well. So
I am buying Oklahoma. I'm not quite that high on them yet. John Mateer has been good against mediocre outside of Michigan. Like, again, they got to play some people. He could go a long way because Auburn's issues are their secondary. They've got a lot of issues where he can really be exploited, but this is also going to be the best pass rush, as Zach pointed out yesterday, that he has faced. I think Oklahoma wins. I don't know that they dominate, but I think Oklahoma wins a gritty game. We'll talk more about that tomorrow as we pick against the spread, as this will be one of the games that we do pick against the FanDuel spread. So the moment y'all all been waiting for, we've seen Drew's. Now it's my turn.
I showed you mine. You show me yours.
That's how it works around here. So I've been impressed with Miami. They had an opportunity for a trap game that they could just roll over and give up, and they didn't. They beat South Florida like a drum. Carson Beck has looked like the best quarterback in the country so far for Miami. He just is in such command of that offense. He's distributing the football well. They're not turning it over. They're playing solid defense. Again, giving credit where credit's due, they had 8 returning starters out of 22 from last year's team. They added 16 different contributors from the transfer portal that are in and playing significant minutes, and they're just winning. The schedule is what it is. They beat Notre Dame early, and I'm not as high on Notre Dame. They've fallen. They were in my bear market. They were flat broke yesterday. But I think Miami is a good football team. I think they're going to I think they're going to manhandle Florida. I think the score will be a little bit closer than people are probably expecting because it's a rivalry game and Florida's defense is good. But I think they manhandle Florida this weekend before an off week, and then I think they beat the Seminoles in Tallahassee in 2 weeks on October the 4th. So I'm excited about that. Number 2, Ohio State. Again, they're great. I have no issues with them. They stayed number 2. I just need to see more from them. Yes, they beat a Texas team that has fallen out of my rankings as well. I need to see more from Ohio State going forward. Georgia impressed me. I moved them up. They took a gritty win at Tennessee, as Drew said. Went to Neyland, took their best shot, gave up the lead 3 different times late in that game, and come back and won. I'm higher on Georgia than I was. Dropped LSU from number 1 to number 4. For the issues you laid out. I think there are offensive issues there, and I don't know that Nussmeier has been healthy all year. They've come out and said it's been a torso injury. Before the season, it was a knee injury. I think that's what's limiting the offense more than anything else. I think once Nuss is healthy, they've got the talent, they've got the speed, they've got the dogs up front to be a team to beat in the SEC.
And not to mention, Brian Kelly's not a pleasant person. But if you tell me that his irritation with the offensive issues is because he doesn't want to come out and say, like, Nussmeier's not healthy, like, what do you expect? Like, yeah, I would get that.
Yeah, exactly. So LSU dropped to 4, but not too far. Penn State, Oregon, same issue as Ohio State. I need to see more. Like, they're fine. Illinois, I've got them up there, number 7. They're undefeated. They got a chance for a statement this weekend to beat a ranked team, beat an Indiana team badly. If they do that, then I'll be like higher on Illinois. But having them 7th, I feel like it's a good spot for them. Moved Oklahoma up because of the reasons you laid out. They've been impressive. Mateer has been uber impressive. They have a chance this weekend to truly make a statement. If you can beat Michigan like you did and then turn around and beat Auburn this weekend pretty handily, then I think you've got a really, really good shot at running the table in the SEC. Because like you said, they play Auburn, they're off Kent State. Then their SEC schedules, Texas, South Carolina, Ole Miss, Tennessee, Bama, Missouri, LSU. You go through that with 1 loss, then you deserve to play for an SEC title and a national championship, 1,000%.
Absolutely.
Mississippi State still has a ranked win over the Sun Devils. I'm leaving them there while I can. It gets real next weekend. We've got Northern Illinois this weekend. I think that game's going to be closer than the 21.5-point spread on FanDuel. But we play Northern Illinois this weekend. Chance to go play Tennessee 4-0 when Tennessee comes to town. And then finally, I've been impressed. The speed that A&M has, the trenches that A&M has, that's a good football team. That's not a Jimbo Fisher A&M team because they went on the road and they played a physical Notre Dame team and out-physicaled them. And they outspeeded them. And A&M is impressive. I like Marcel Reed. Yeah, they spud them. They outspud them. They spud them. I like Marcel Reed. I like Casey Concepcion. Mario Craver is obviously super fast. That's a good football team down in College Station. And so my top 4, Miami is sitting at plus 1,600 to win the national championship. Again, Ohio State plus 550, Georgia plus 700, and LSU sitting at plus 1,400 on FanDuel.com to win the national championship.
Yeah, I don't have an issue with your list. Listen, for some reason, I'm not there with Illinois yet. Call it bias, call it SEC bias. If Lauren Massey watches this, he'll probably slide in my DMs. And I'm just not there yet. Yes, the Duke win has turned out to be kind of a dud. I'll tell you what, I'll make a promise to you. If Illinois blows out Indiana this week, they'll be on my list. It'll be something.
It's a prove-it game for me.
Yeah. There's just so much more there with Miami and Ohio State and Oregon and Penn State just when it comes to history. And I do think recent history matters. Well, history pre-NIL doesn't matter, but recent history does matter. And Illinois just kind of is that next tier. So we're only doing 10. They're not far off my 10, but I'm just not there yet.
They're plus 17,500 to win the national championship. Super long odds. They are plus 4,000, lower than Indiana at plus 3,300 on FanDuel.com to win the Big Ten. Again, you go to their place, you push them around. I'm high on them because of the reasons we lay out on the show all the time. Luke Altmaier's been in that system for 3 years now. The former Ole Miss quarterback is going up there, found a home, stuck with the system. They've got a lot of speed. They've got a great pass rush on defense. I'm big on Illinois. They got to prove it to me this weekend. against Indiana. Absolutely. So we've got college football coming up again all weekend long. Tomorrow, make sure you're here at 11 a.m. Central on Friday as we pick against the FanDuel spread for the big games of the weekend. But before we get to that, Drew, we do have an NFL game tonight. The Buffalo Bills host the Miami Dolphins in a division clash, and we're going to be talking Thursday Night Football odds right now. We were blessed with two really good Thursday Night Football games, and then we got to today. And I'm not so sure about today's, Drew. Early thoughts on Dolphins-Bills?
I'm okay with this matchup. Listen, the Dolphins are a team that's always kind of fun to watch when they're clicking. I don't know their record. Are they 0-2? They had
0-2.
No, they won. No, they lost. Look at week 1. They were in a shootout week 1, in which I was kind of stunned that they were even in the game. But 11.5 point spread. Like, I think Buffalo is quite possibly the best team in the NFL right now. They had
week 1. So week 1 they lost 33-8 to the Colts. Last weekend they lost 33-27 to the Patriots.
Okay, so I was wrong. I was on the wrong end of that week 1. It was Indiana that had the upset over Miami, not the other way around. So my apologies there. Everything's kind of going left for Miami, and I like their coach, but it seems like he's starting to get dragged now in this with being McDaniel. Listen, Tyreek Hill is like, I don't even know if he's playing, if he's going to get traded. There was a report that came out that said no one has made us an offer for Tyreek Hill, which is kind of a weird report to even get out. And I don't really understand the reasons as to why, unless they want him to quit or something. I don't know. Jalen Waddle's just going to always be hurt. Devon Achane has had a really good fantasy start to the year, and Tua's a ticking time bomb. So I like Buffalo minus 11.5 at home in Buffalo. Listen, this is just a confidence vote for Josh Allen. I love him. He's
so
great.
good, man. We'll talk about him more here in a minute. But yeah, the Mike McDaniel shtick is starting to wear on people. He had the infamous line now in the press conference last weekend is like, to win the game, you have to win it. Otherwise, you lose the game. And I understand,
Mike
it's fun. It's fun to be dry. It's fun to be dry when you're winning, but I can understand where that grates on people when you're just not performing on the field, and they have not been.
It's a personality that works when you're winning because you can be the quirky guy. If you start losing, you come off as a dork.
Out of touch and a dork, and that's exactly what it's come off as. Miami has looked terrible. Tua's turned the ball over quite a bit in the first two games. I don't buy the Miami team. I think Buffalo is at least 2 touchdowns better than them. I think this game will be well in hand by halftime, and I think you'll get a James Cook show in the second half. But some bets, which leads me to some of my bets here on FanDuel.com. You can get an anytime touchdown. The odds-on favorite is James Cook at minus 180. But some interesting ones to me, you get Devon Achane, who you said has had a good fantasy year so far, and he is plus 105 for an anytime touchdown. Keon Coleman, plus 180, and Khalil Shakir at plus 210. Both Buffalo Bills wide receivers who Josh Allen has found in the red zone so far this year are anytime touchdown plus odds, and I feel good about those, Drew.
Can you get plus odds for James Cook for 1 touchdown?
No.
I mean, I imagine it would be maybe.
So an anytime touchdown is minus 180, which is good. Now you can get him for 2 touchdowns, which I really like, because he had 2 touchdowns last week against the Jets. And the Jets, whoever the Bills played last week, he had 2 touchdowns last week. This week he is plus 330 to score 2 touchdowns again. I put that in my same game parlay for tonight because I do like James Cook getting 2 touchdowns, especially in the second half when the Bills just kind of like run out the clock by running the football with James Cook. Touchdown scores at like anytime is minus 172 now for James Cook, minus 170 for Josh Allen.
Yeah. Okay. So I like both of those. The only thing that worries me is when you predict blowouts in the NFL, it rarely happens.
Right.
Seems like blowouts tend to sneak up on me more often than the obvious situations here. And so but a blowout probably means less James Cook for me because they do run in a couple of different running backs. I can't remember the other guy that's there. It's not Devin Singletary anymore, but There's a second guy that has vultured some touchdowns before for Josh
It's
Allen.
Ray
And
Davis.
you also Ray Davis, that's him.
Yeah, it's Ray
And
Davis.
you also have the Josh Allen rushing aspect to his game that makes me diminish the James Cook if you want 2+ touchdowns. But it's kind of hard to predict any touchdown where the rushing touchdowns are going to score for Buffalo. So I'm interested by this game, I think is what I'm telling you. I don't think this is going to be a game that is just a turn it off game. So
Yeah, so for me, I also took Josh Allen record 25 plus passing yards in each quarter at plus 100. Look, that Miami secondary is awful. 25, and you can get plus odds on that. Like, that secondary in Miami is awful. Bradley Chubb and the pass rush have not really gotten going this year. They got a little bit after Drake May last week, but not much. I don't anticipate. I think Josh Allen can have a field day, and plus he throws the ball a ton, which leads to the final bet on your screen, being Josh Allen's over/under for combined rushing and passing yards is 272.5.
Oh yeah, I'm taking the over on that.
Absolutely.
Honestly, nobody throws the ball more often deeper than Josh Allen. So 25 yards a quarter. That doesn't seem outlandish to me either. I like Josh Allen. I like him in fantasy. I like him betting his overs just in general because the dude is just a machine.
Yeah, for me, the two bets that I made for tonight, because I'm a degenerate and I just like to play around on FanDuel.com with little bets. And so I got a same-game parlay with a Buffalo defense anytime touchdown, Keon Coleman or Devon Achane anytime touchdown, Josh Allen 250-plus yards passing, 2 passing touchdowns by Josh Allen, and a James Cook anytime first-half touchdown. That adds up to plus 57.41 on the same-game parlay on FanDuel.com. Made that through the FanDuel your way, where you can go set alternative spreads, alternative lines, alternative touchdowns. A good way to customize your same-game parlay how you want it.
So Josh Allen in 2 games, in week 1 against Baltimore, he went nuclear. He hit the over on everything. He had 394 yards rushing and 30 yards passing. So
Other way around.
Oh yeah, I'm sorry. 30 yards rushing, 394 yards passing, over 400 yards of total offense. That would have hammered. Now, if you're expecting a blowout, this should dissuade you possibly. Against the Jets, which it was a blowout, he had 148 yards passing, and he had 59 yards rushing, and he had no touchdowns. So the Dogs were obviously called off in that game. It didn't matter, and he didn't get the stats. The team beat the snot out of the Jets, but it didn't matter.
Yeah, I don't know that it's going to matter.
This game's not going to be close. I don't know
James?
that, even if it's a blowout, is still it's 11.5 point spread. FanDuel's expecting a bit of a gap. A 2 touchdown win in the NFL is a bit of a blowout just because most games end up being a touchdown or 10 points or less. I just don't know this game's going to be close, and I think Josh Allen and the Bills get out early and get some of these stats accomplished.
So James Cook in a blowout, or in week 1, had 44 yards rushing, 58 yards receiving, about 100 yards total, and he had 1 rushing touchdown. In the blowout, James Cook, 21 carries, 132 yards rushing, 2 touchdowns, and 1 reception for 3 yards on 1 target. Yeah. So they fed him. He's the number 1 running back in fantasy right now in full PPR scoring.
Yeah, and I think they will continue to do that tonight. But tune into ESPN for is it ESPN?
No, Prime.
That's right. It's on Prime tonight. Tune into Prime. Watch the Bills Dolphins. Hop on FanDuel before the game. Get your bets in. FanDuel your way. Same game parlays. Make sure you hop in and get that done before kickoff. Plenty of ways. Also, there are 2. You can get a 50% profit boost on FanDuel for the game tonight. You can get a no sweat parlay, which is what I did. You put in your money, you get refunded up to $10. So there's no sweat whether you win or lose. If you win, you get more money. If you lose, you get your money back. It's literally can't miss on FanDuel.com right now. But Drew, before we get out of here, I do want to remind the good people that this Saturday, starting at 9 a.m., we have the Mid-South Card Show at the venue at Bartlett Station, 5868 Stage Road. There's going to be memorabilia. There's going to be vintage cards, vintage memorabilia, clothes. There's going to be all kind of vendors there. Come out, come early, bring the whole family, bring your cards to get valued or trade or whatever you want to do with those. Come hang out. I'm super excited. I'll be there representing Bluff City Media and getting the opportunity to interview former Negro League player Reggie Howard, played back in the 1950s. Super excited to talk to him about the evolution of the game, the desegregation of the game, and how baseball has matured over the years. True, I'm super excited to go hang out at this weekend. Y'all make sure y'all come out on Saturday.
Yeah, that sounds like a fun time. It will be my mom's 60th birthday, so I will not be there. But shout out to Mama Vicky. But
absolutely. Shout out birthday.
That does
Mama
sound
Vicky.
like a lot of fun. I would recommend taking your kids to it as well because my son doesn't know many players, but for some reason he loves getting cards. And so take your kids. Avoid Rusty. Not, the law tells you to avoid Rusty if you have small. No, I'm just kidding.
Wow. Oh, wow. King Hater makes an appearance here at the end and goes, you know what? Just for that, get off my stage. Well, that's going to do it for your Thursday edition of the $2 Sports Show. I'm your co-host, Rusty Buckets, who has no trouble with the law. Thank you very much.
That's true.
Yeah, my guy, Drew Gann. We're here Monday through Friday at 11 a.m. Central. Y'all come hang out with us. Be back tomorrow as we finish up our conversation about Pablo Torre. We pick against the FanDuel spreads for the Saturday slate of games and a Bucks Big Three. You never know what we're going to get into, Drew, for the tomfooleries on Fridays.
So, yeah, appreciate everybody joining in. If you're still here, it's not too late. Just go ahead and give us a thumbs up real quick under the video. Hit the bell, subscribe to the Bluff City Media page. The bell will get you notified anytime a Bluff City Media show comes on. But please, just give us a thumbs up. It helps us out in the algorithm, helps us boost us to more people. If you're here at this point, we've been going for 55 minutes. You obviously like us. And so if you like us, consider this your rent payment. And that is just a thumbs up on this on the page here.
And not here in the comments, Jaron. I am not a felon and not here in the comments. You make sure you click that like under the video. Subscribe, turn those notifications so you know when any of our great shows go live so you can hang out with us here on YouTube. But in the meantime, go be a friend to somebody who needs a friend. And Drew, tell them why there are no refunds.
That's right, because with the $2, you always get what you pay for. Happy Thursday, everybody. The best day of the week. And we'll see you back tomorrow.
Thank you for listening to the $2 Sports Show. If you enjoyed this episode, leave a rating and a review wherever you download your podcasts. Also, like and subscribe to Bluff City Media's YouTube page. We'll see you back here next time.